Yes, we're in an AI bubble. What can you do with your money? Let me show you something that should make you slightly uncomfortable. If you've got money in a pension, an index fund, or a stocks and shares, and you think you're diversified, then roughly a third of your money is riding on just 7 companies. 7. And every single one of them is betting the house on artificial intelligence. Now, this is the part where I'm supposed to calm you down and say, but don't worry, it's different this time. I'm not going to do that, because I don't think it's different this time. I think we are in an AI bubble. And that's a strange thing for me to say, because I'm not an AI skeptic. I lead AI adoption at one of the UK's biggest retailers. I use this technology every single day, and I've seen what it can genuinely do. The technology is real, and we're in a bubble. Both of those things can be true at once. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why, and more importantly, exactly what to do with your money. Not panic, not hide, a plan. Let's get into it. First, the case for the bubble. 3 exhibits. These are the ones that convinced me. Exhibit 1, concentration. The top 10 companies in the S&P 500 now make up 35% of the entire index. At the peak of the dot-com bubble, the most famous market mania of our lifetime, that number was 25%. Read that again. We are more concentrated today than in 1999. Nvidia alone is now worth over $5 trillion. That's more than the entire FTSE 100, every one of Britain's 100 biggest companies combined. And the price we're paying for all this? There's a measure called the Shiller P. Think of it as what the market costs compared to a decade of real profits. It's above 40. That level has been reached exactly once before in history, immediately before the dot-com crash. Exhibit 2, the circular money machine. Follow the money with me, because this is where it gets weird. Microsoft has invested more than $13 billion into OpenAI. OpenAI spends those billions on computing power, which flows to NVIDIA's chips and Oracle's data centers. NVIDIA, in turn, invests in AI companies, who use that money to buy more NVIDIA chips. Money going round in a circle, and every lap makes everyone's revenue look bigger. Supporters call it a virtuous circle. But if you studied the dot-com era, this should ring a very loud bell. Telecoms giants like Lucent and Nortel financed their own customers in 1999. It made demand look enormous, right up until it wasn't. Exhibit 3, the debt. And this is the one almost nobody is talking about. This year alone, AI-related borrowing is forecast to reach around $570 billion. The tech giants are now spending roughly half of everything they earn on building data centers, spending patterns you normally see from utility companies, not software firms. And out at the risky end, Elon Musk's xAI has been borrowing at 12.5% interest. 12.5%. That is not the interest rate of a sure thing. So let's add it up. Record concentration, dot-com valuations, circular deals, and a mountain of debt. That's why my answer is yes, we're in a bubble. But here's the twist, and this is the part most videos get wrong. Bubble does not mean fake. The internet was real. It changed everything, exactly as promised in 1999, and the Nasdaq still fell 78%. Amazon, a company that went on to conquer the planet, fell 94%. If you'd bought Amazon at the top, you'd have waited about a decade just to break even. Cisco was the Nvidia of its day, selling the picks and shovels of the internet. It then spent more than 2 decades below its dot-com peak. Even Microsoft took 16 years to climb back to where it stood in the year 2000. The technology won, the early investors still lost. That's the real lesson. A bubble isn't about whether the technology works. It's about the price you pay and how long you can afford to wait. AI will almost certainly transform the economy. I watch it happen in my own work every week, but paying any price for that future is how fortunes get destroyed. And here's why this matters to you, even if you've never bought a single tech share in your life. That concentration from Exhibit 1. If you own a global index fund, an S&P 500 tracker, or you're in your workplace pension's default fund, you already own this bubble. The question isn't whether you're exposed, it's what you do about it. So let's get practical. 6 moves, and notice none of them is sell everything, because that's the biggest mistake of all. Move 1, don't try to time it. People have been calling this bubble since 2023. Anyone who sold back then missed some of the best returns in market history. Bubbles run longer than anyone expects. And here's the brutal maths of market timing. Miss just the 10 best days in the market over a couple of decades, and you can roughly have your lifetime returns. The people who sell before crashes almost never get back in at the bottom. If professional fund managers can't time it, and the evidence says they can't, you and I definitely can't. Move 2, find out what you actually own tonight. Open your pension app, open your ISA, search your fund's name plus the word fact sheet, and look at the top 10 holdings. For most of you, 7 names will dominate the list. That's not a reason to panic. It's a reason to know you can't manage a risk you've never measured. And a special note if you invest Sharia compliant, like I do, halal funds screen out banks, which often makes them even more concentrated in tech. Your values-based portfolio may be a bigger AI bet than the standard index. Check yours. Move 3, diversify like you mean it. Diversification is not owning 3 funds that all hold the same 7 companies. It's owning things that don't move together. That can mean markets beyond the US megacaps. The UK, Europe, and emerging markets are trading far, far cheaper. It can mean equal weight index funds, same companies, but no 7 giants allowed to dominate. And it can mean other assets entirely, property, commodities, even a small allocation to gold, the oldest diversifier there is. You're not abandoning AI, you're refusing to bet everything on it. Move 4, keep buying. I know, you think it's a bubble and you're still investing? Yes, because regular monthly investing, pound cost averaging, is the one strategy that doesn't need to know when the crash comes. If markets keep climbing, your money grows. If they crash, your monthly contributions quietly buy more at a discount. The people destroyed in the dot-com crash lumped everything in at the top. The people who won just kept going straight through the wreckage. Move 5, build your crash shelter before the storm. 3 to 6 months of expenses in cash savings, expensive debts paid down. Why is this an investing move? Because the real damage in 2000 and 2008 wasn't the crash itself. It was people forced to sell at the bottom because they lost a job or needed cash in a hurry. An emergency fund buys you the right to wait 10 years if you have to, and as we've just seen, sometimes you have to. Move 6, stay away from the sharp edges. No borrowing to invest, no leverage, no margin, and be honest with yourself about the hype around the hype. Quantum computing stocks have risen over 1,000% on technology that barely generates revenue yet. That's the bubble inside the bubble. If you want to punt, use money you can fully afford to lose, cap it at 5% of your portfolio, and call it what it is: a gamble, not a plan. Here's the mindset I want to leave you with. You don't need to predict the crash. You need to build a financial life that survives it, and even profits from it. Concentration is the risk. Diversification is the answer. Time is your weapon, and boring is beautiful. The AI revolution is real, so is the internet. The technology will win, and with the right plan, so will you. Just not by betting everything on 7 companies at the most expensive prices in a generation. Quick disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor, and this isn't financial advice. It's education and my own thinking. Do your own research or speak to a regulated advisor about your own situation. If this helped you, subscribe, because in an upcoming video, I'm covering a change the government has already confirmed that affects every saver in the UK. The cash ISA is being cut, and there's a deadline attached. You'll want to be ready for that one. Until then, forge your path.